All right, good afternoon, everyone. It is 1:19 p.m. on Monday, April 22nd, 2019. I would like to call our board business meeting for the New York State Board of Parole to order and begin with roll call, starting please with Commissioner Alexander.
Commissioner Alexander, here.
Eric Berliner, Commissioner present.
Carol Shapiro, Commissioner present.
Thais Joy, Commissioner present.
Commissioner Kreml, present.
Kathy Kiley, Counsel to the Board, present. Tina Stanford, Chairwoman of the Board of Parole, present.
W. William Smith, Commissioner present.
Tana Agostini, Commissioner present.
Otis Cruz, Commissioner present.
Commissioner Capola, present.
Charles Davis, Commissioner present.
And representing Board of Parole administrative staff, ladies, please introduce yourself.
Chelsea Berry, Special Assistant to the Chairwoman.
Lorraine Morris, Administrative Assistant to the Board.
Rocio Villa, Executive Assistant to the Board.
And with the Department of Corrections and Community Supervision recording today's meeting, sir, would you kindly put your name on the record and title?
Peter Rajani Vidas.
Thank you so much. And welcome to the members of the public who are joining us today. Before we begin our business, I would just like to ask us to pause for a moment of silence for prayer, meditation, reflection, whatever you feel you may support us in our work today. Thank you. In terms of old business, I would like to place on the record tours and or events that myself and other members of the board have participated in since our last board business meeting. This board was represented twice at Otisville Correctional Facility in the month of March. One Thursday, two of us went to Otisville, the Lifers and Long-Timers Organization's reconciliation workshop, culminating workshop, several weeks worth of work reconciling with their personal histories, their crimes, their sentences, and we were able to observe the men working through that process with the culmination of this final workshop with their facilitators, which included a member of the clergy and a retired member of law enforcement who had his own reconciliation story. The following Thursday, myself and Commissioner Cruz, who joined me on the attendance at the reconciliation culmination, were joined by Commissioner Agostini, and we went to the Lifers and Long-Timers Organization at Otisville Correctional Facility's culminating session of their parole preparation workshop. Again, another incarcerated men-run workshop, this time focusing on preparing for the parole board interview and preparing for such a time as they might rejoin society. I was very impressed with what we saw, the earnestness with which the facilitators attended to what they consider to be their role in the process for their fellow incarcerated men. And if Commissioner Cruz or Agostini would like to say anything about their observations, certainly you're welcome to do so at this time.
It's fine. No, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
It was a very detailed workshop, quite impressive.
And then several of us, almost half of the board, one member shy of half the board, attended to a tour of Fishkill Correctional Facility just last Thursday of their special programs for those in need of special services through the Department of Corrections and Community Supervision. And that was initiated and led by our two phenomenal co-chairs of our Vulnerable and/or Special Populations Committee of the Board, Commissioners Thais Drake and Commissioner Charles Davis. And we were joined by other commissioners of the board for a tour, a very detailed and extensive tour of Fishkill Correctional Facility. And then Friday, Commissioner Agostini and I took advantage of the opportunity to attend the now almost world-renowned, one of the world-renowned debates that took place between barred students who happened to be incarcerated men and 3 students from Cambridge University. And very pleased to say that the barred students won that debate. And so it was really something to see. And as I've said before in the past, as the weather improves and driving conditions aren't as hazardous, we will be taking full advantage of that and attending tours and events all around the state, from north, south, east, and west, to see our correctional facilities and/or community-based programs in operation. And please, again, remember to check your email as often as you can during the week as these opportunities come up. I just need you to let us know you're interested. We'll try to make sure that we spread them out again across the state so that they facilitate you taking your non-board days and not having to travel so far to be able to benefit from these opportunities to see programs in action, as I said, both inside prisons as well as in the community. I don't have any other old business. We've yet to be prepared to issue reports from our committees, but as I've said, we've got a process in place. If you give me your agenda or report a week in advance of the board meeting, we will be happy to include that in the agenda for the board meeting. In terms of new business, we do have an upcoming training in a couple of weeks regarding the certificates of release documents and the processes that the department is going to be training its staff in terms of a new way forward with electronically generated release certificates. A lot of work has gone into it. We're going to bring everybody up to speed with where we're at with that particular project at that training. I noticed that everybody isn't signed up. If there's some reason you cannot attend, we'll be glad to set up a makeup session because it's that important. So if you're not planning to attend, you should have gotten an invitation from Ms. Visveri. If you have not already accepted or declined that invitation, if you cannot attend, by video conference, of course, if you cannot attend, then we'll try to find another date that works for everyone else and do it again, because everyone really should have this training. I don't have any other items of new business. We've got a bit of correspondence to go through. We have that, but if there isn't any other new business from the floor at this time, we'll move into our correspondence. Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you so much. And I didn't have that in my notes. I wasn't following the agenda. Thank you so much, Commissioner Cruz. Good call. So everyone has the board business meeting minutes from March 25th, 2019. And as I noted, everyone was in attendance, so no one need to be excused or abstain from this vote because everyone was here and is competent to vote on it. So without further ado, does anyone need more time to review it before we take a motion? Okay, hearing no need for delay, is there a motion?
Motion to accept the minutes of March.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Agostini has a motion on the floor to accept the minutes from the March meeting as prepared.
Yes.
Is there a second to that? Second, I will acknowledge Commissioner Berliner as our second. All in favor? Are there any further questions or discussion? Okay. All in favor, please indicate by a show of hands and saying aye. Aye. No, any nays? Okay. Our minutes have been accepted. That motion is carried. Thank you so much, Commissioner Cruz. All right. So now, for correspondence. I don't know if our little practice here is catching on or if people are just feeling like writing us letters, but I'm pleased to see that we do get letters now from people with different perspectives on our work. And so I'm really always really happy and excited to share it. This one was addressed to Commissioners Agostini, Shapiro, and Drake, March 18th of 2019, subject, thanks and appreciation. Commissioners, upon receipt of my March, and I won't give the date, the exact date, 2019 Parole Board decision on March 2019, I was in a state of emotion so intense that I entered a place beyond my rational thought. To say the least, I was thankful. Therefore, I was moved to give thanks to whom honor is due. T. Agostini, C. Shapiro, and T. Drake, thanks for your consideration in granting me parole. May God bless you and continue to use you for his glory and purpose in the work he has blessed you to do. Again, thank you, Commissioners, respectfully, and then the name of the person. Now, because balance is important, I thought this was a particularly important letter to read because it's from someone who wasn't granted release. And this is addressed to Commissioner Charles Davis. Dear Commissioner Davis, you provided my recent initial parole board interview on March. I was just writing to say thank you. While this day isn't as pleasant as I hoped for, I am nonetheless grateful. As I am at peace with your collective decision and the considerations given to my personal growth, which has meant everything to myself over the years. I never knew there could be so much positive inside a denial for parole, or for that matter, and with all the historically negative commentary heard about you all as commissioners, considered how I would be so positively affected by you each personally, ! And while this being both a difficult and painful experience, it's the panel's recommendation of myself reckoning with the impact of my actions having on my victim, their families, as well as my own, that gives myself the most encouragement and peace to move forward with hope. All in all, and in closing, I just wanted to say thank you for everything, and how so truly ashamed I am having to present myself before you all under any circumstances, but more so under conditions like these. Sincerely. And then there was a note one of us received from a staff member. I believe this person's title was SORC, and I think you'll see the significance of why this person saw fit to write the note in the text. This was addressed to Commissioner Otis Cruz. Just a little note to say a great big thank you in bold letters. You made what I hope to be my last parole board assignment a very memorable one. I pray that your words inspired and motivated inmate, and then she gave the name, as much as they did me. This agency needs more folks like you speaking into the lives of these individuals. Thank you again, and oh, by the way, thanks for the nice pen. I removed the rubber band you had around it, and it fits in my hand just fine, LOL. You left it inside one of the folders. Now, these letters that I'm about to read next came from an incarcerated person, the same person, at Otisville, who was present for both the reconciliation final workshop and the parole preparation final workshop. And the text is basically the same to Commissioner Cruz and I for this first letter. So I'll just read it once, but it was addressed to both of us. separately. Hi, how are you doing? I am typing you this letter because I wanted to thank you once again for taking the time out and coming to the facility to see what the reconciliation and the parole preparation workshop were all about. I also wanted to thank you all for your insight. I have a better understanding now of how hard your job really is. These programs have really helped me at my parole board hearings. I was much more better prepared. But I think most of all, they helped me to be able to talk about the things I went through as a young child that were some of the contributing factors of me making some terrible decisions that hurt many people, including my family and society as a whole. Since the time I came in, I have been trying to better myself by taking many programs. My first program in the late 90s, which I participated in for 5 years, was the Merle Cooper program. And this program really opened up my eyes to the damage that was done. And from that point on, I made it my goal to never be that person I was back then, throughout my time striving to better myself until this very day. It was a way of me giving back for the bad things I did, which I can never change, but I can prevent them from ever happening again by never creating another victim. Thanks for coming once again, and thanks for listening as well. Take care and be well. Sincerely. Now, as I indicated, Commissioner Agostini joined us the following Thursday for the parole preparation workshop, and this person's letter to her is just a little different. Hi, how are you doing? I'm typing this letter because I wanted to thank you for taking the time out to come into our facility and observe what the parole preparation workshop was all about. I also wanted to thank you for your feedback regarding the group and the things we talked about as well. After speaking to you in person, it has really given me much more insight on how really tough your job is. This program has really helped me in expressing myself at the last parole board hearing. Even though I was not released, I was much better prepared and did much better than my 2 other boards. Actually, this last board was 1 hour and 10 minutes because I was able to express myself better. Since I came in 23 years ago, I have always tried to better myself. And one of my first programs, which I participated in the late 90s, was the Merle Cooper program for 5 years. And this really helped me gain insight into the damage I had caused with the terrible decisions I had made. After that program, I have continued to take many other programs to better myself and to distance myself from that person I was back then. And also because I don't ever want to create another victim again. It was a way of me also giving back and making amends. Thank you once again for taking the time to come out and hear us out. I really appreciate it, and thanks for listening. Thank you. Take care and be well. Sincerely. And that's it for the correspondence. At this point, I've indicated the upcoming training. No other invitations have come to us as a body, but of course, we can go wherever we want to go in terms of facilities or programs. So if anyone has any burning desires, I know some of you have mentioned particular programs and or facilities and or programs within facilities you're interested in learning more about. Please just let me know. Reach out. The superintendents have all been wonderful. The commissioner of the Department of Corrections and Community Supervision is very supportive. His deputy commissioners and executive deputy commissioner are very supportive. They really do make it very easy for us to go where we need to go within our system to get more information, background that might help us make better decisions. And our community partners are equally gracious when we indicate we want to come out and see a program, whether it's a residential program or an outpatient program, or just the headquarters of a particular program. We get letters from. Anything you're interested in doing, just let me know, and we'll try to set it up as soon as possible. Also, a bit of information, we are intending to participate in the Office of Victim Services annual conference. It's later this year, and my special assistant and the executive assistant to the board are actually trying to develop a workshop that we might be able to offer. But if nothing else, we'll have an information table and be able to share information with victim service providers around the state who come to Albany for this annual training. So without anything further to announce, is there a motion to adjourn the public session to enter into executive session to discuss confidential information of several incarcerated persons, and then at the conclusion of executive session, adjourn the business of the Board of Parole until May 20th of 2019? Is there such a motion?
I make such a motion.
So moved by Commissioner William Smith. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Joseph Krangle. Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, please indicate by a show of hand and saying aye. Aye. Any nays? Okay, thank you. We are out of public session and about to go into executive session. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.